The film begins with a collection of friends Annie, Kayla, Michelle, and Stephanie, who are all looking to make studies throughout their last year of high faculty in the future. Annie comes to a decision to head secretly into Jason's home to be able to have interaction and intimacy. Despite the fact that she gets caught at the fence, she climbs to Jason's room. She discovers him exposing himself whilst she receives to his window, but on account that she's a virgin, Jason's started up at her hastiness. They nevertheless dress up to have intimacy, but while his mother and father see them, Annie tumbles out of the window. In the meantime, Kay is having extreme encounters along with her boyfriend Tim. She asks him about his former girlfriends because she feels insecure about them, but he in no way responds. Whilst she discovers another female texting him, her temper immediately turns bitter. As for Michelle, she spends maximum of her days at domestic, doing it to JFK's speeches with a picture of him next to her. Because she's an overachieving scholar, she prides herself on her accomplishments. However, Stephanie, romantically dominating a man with a whip and handcuffs, suddenly he well-known shows himself to be the college's fundamental. Seizing the opportunity, she information him within the midst of the act and compels him to retire, threatening to reveal the photos to the complete faculty. Some days later, the ladies attend a back-to-school beach party where Stephanie becomes the target of harassment from a guy named Brett. Due to her perceived promiscuity, he tries to take advantage of her, but she turns the tables and humiliates him in the front of his buddies. Meanwhile, Kayla discovers that the woman texting Tim is in reality his cousin. It turns into apparent that she has been acting out whenever any lady contacts him. Frustrated, Tim eventually breaks up with Kayla. Later, Annie video calls Jason and observes him at some other celebrations surrounded by means of numerous women at college. Within the night, the girls reflect at the demanding situations in their relationships and decide to make a PC to deal with and improve their love lives. They set a closing date for a month from then. Day after today at college, the ladies make a stylish front, with Annie nonetheless feeling depression approximately her boyfriend heading off to college, but Stephanie encourages her, suggesting that she should drive to his vicinity and share an intimate second before Michelle departs. She gives to purchase a toy for Annie to preserve her agency until she reunites with Jason. In the meantime, Michelle has a sudden stumble upon with an attractive guy on her. Thanks to magnificence distracted via him, she by chance collides with a door, learning that his name is Grant and that he shares the equal elegance. Michelle moves up a verbal exchange, even as speaking to provide her toy falls out a second he recognizes, however tactfully chooses no longer to deal with. Later, Kayla tries to make an apology to Tim with espresso. However, he publicly humiliates her by way of reminding all of us of their breakup. Luckily, Supply walks by and offers Kayla advice on how to reignite Tim's interest. Kayla agrees to his invitation and engages in a verbal exchange with him, all at the same time as being discovered via Tim. Meanwhile, at some stage in lacrosse exercise, Stephanie observes provide passing with the aid of considering he's new. She opts to hit him within the face with a ball. In some other scenario, Michelle courses Annie via a difference of adult products at a shop. In spite of Annie's embarrassment, she makes an attempt not to display it. It's her first revel in a store of this nature. Sooner or later, a lady named Ellen shows a vibrating object to Annie, and she or he ultimately comes to a decision to make the purchase. Returned at home, Annie hurries to her room to test her new acquisition whilst engaged in a video game with Jason downstairs. In the meantime, Ellen arrives with Supply to present Annie's dad, Kevin, with an APPLE pie, revealing that she has recently moved into Supply's Marvel. He notices flirtatious interactions among Ellen and Kevin. Moreover, he learns that Ellen is the brand new college major. No matter, Annie doing it together with her boyfriend over video chat provide shows. Going upstairs to Annie's room, upon coming into the room completely unaware, they begin talking with Annie, who is visibly looking to maintain a composed expression. To add to the awkwardness, provide inadvertently steps at the far off, leading to Annie experiencing a climax. In the long run, she recognizes Ellen as the woman from the shop, solely to discover that she's the brand new principal. Tomorrow at faculty, Annie tells Michelle of her embarrassing incident. In the meantime, Kayla correctly makes Tim jealous. In the long run, she gives to have fun with him despite the fact that he is unwilling. At the beginning, he is of the same opinion to omit lunch together with her to visit his residence. At lunch, Annie bumps into Grant, who makes amusing of her for catching her. Later, she reminds him that she has a boyfriend earlier than shutting him down. Michelle, on the other hand, observes Kayla's developing interest with Furnish. Consequently, Kayla opts to observe him on his thanks to magnificence, inadvertently hitting a close-by lock her. Within the procedure, he responds by way of taking her to look the nurse, and Michelle is thrilled with the eye she receives. In the meantime, Stephanie seeks perception into the boy she likes from Grant's friend EMT. In spite of their past friendship, EMT declines to assist her until she will pay him $100. After Michelle is dropped off on the nurse's office, Oliver, Ellen's assistant, tries to take a look at her harm. However, Michelle is greater inquisitive about gaining knowledge of about Supply's own family existence, but Oliver has had a crush on her ever on account that they had been in fundamental faculty. Tim and Kayla are having fun on the equal time, which may sense exceptional for they're collectively at the library, Annie bumps into Supply, who apologizes for coming on to her, realizing her hostilities with French. Grant gives to help Annie with her upcoming quizzes. Through the years, Annie and Grant begin to spend more time collectively, inflicting the other girls to observe his developing distance, but Kayla, preoccupied with Tim, stays detached. Later, Kevin and Annie receive an invitation to Ellen's party. Upon arriving, Annie discovers all her buddies present, and tensions upward jab after they recognize each. Certainly one of them is inquisitive about Provide. After a small quarrel, Kayla makes a decision to go into Furnish's room and take photographs in his blouse to make Tim jealous. In the meantime, Stephanie questions Furnish approximately his lack of interest in her, and he famous that she once hit him within the face. Whilst Grant heads to his room, Annie rushes upstairs to save him from coming into. In a pivotal moment, she distracts him with a kiss, and he confesses his feelings. Unluckily, Kayla seizes the opportunity now not to sneak away, however, to take an image of them outdoor. The ladies increase concerns about Annie's conduct, considering she has a boyfriend, deeming it inappropriate for her to be inquisitive about Supply. However, she stands with the aid of herself, with the aid of pronouncing that she needed to distract him. She tells him that nothing happened, even though he tries to talk to her later, but that she has a wet dream. Approximately him at night, she feels she must lose her virginity to Jason, so she drives out to see him due to the fact she is uninterested. Inside the meantime, Michelle tries to inform Ellen approximately the just event to her. She does, but suggest her to look for Oliver as a substitute, as Furnish is obviously no longer interested by her. As for Stephanie, she breaks down crying after having an affair with Tim. She confronts Jason, expressing that she merits greater than an informal fling and goals.